DC United obviously had a poor year, but Wayne Rooney, and I saw this from Pablo Mara, he had tweeted out that Wayne Rooney's obviously going to get a better opportunity to bring in the players that he wants.
He definitely deserves. I don't want to call it like a transfer window, but he definitely deserves a preseason to make some decisions.
He came in the mid-season, and
his job was to just stop the bleeding. You know what I mean?
And it just they were hemorrhaging.
And
it did not stop.
It did not.
So but Palomar said that in all likelihood, Wayne Rooney will only be at DC United for one more year. So how much should like the executives? How much effort or how much of a leash do they need to give Wayne Rooney?
Or why let him make a bunch of decisions if he's just going to be gone?
Because I don't think the feeling is that he's going to be there a long time.
Why?
Pablo Maro suggested that he's interviewed.
Yeah, but did he say why?
No, did not say specifically why. I just I'm assuming he covers DC United. He's been covering DC United for I think like a decade. I'm gonna trust his opinion on that, and maybe that's just his like hunch. But I think it's a fair question.
Yo, Pablo, we're on the show right now, and you said that Wayne Rooney was gonna leave most likely after next year. Can you share why? Oh, by the way, whatever you sent me, I'm going to play on the show, regardless of what you say.
Okay, let's see if Pablo responds.
So we'll see live if he responds or not.
But
I'll let you know once he reads it, which is not yet, or once he acknowledges the voice note.
But I do think if I think you operate under the fact, even if Wayne Rooney doesn't stay there past a year, I still think
does he get the right to shift the playing style, the culture, the players that are in there, the roster?
It's not he's not going to make it worse. So go for it.
So then do you listen to, what was it, Michael Raymond who said it? Do we then fire him? We, as if we have any right. Do we then let him go and bring in a Caleb Porter who will most likely be there for a little bit longer?
No, I mean, what would be the point of bringing him in for 6 months? No, you have to give him another shot. Wait,
who for 6 months?
Wayne Rooney, he's only been there for a couple months.
Yeah, but if he's only going to be there for another year, then you might as well make that decision now.
Right, but you can't operate under thinking that he's not going to be there longer than a year. You have to just give him the opportunity, and I think if he finds some success, maybe he can find a reason to stay. But the team has to do well. If I don't see a scenario where DC United win MLS Cup or get really deep into the playoffs, and he's like, "Nah, I'm done." In my opinion, I think that would be reason enough for him to stay. But we do know that his families didn't move to DC. And it is what it is. So signs suggest that he may not be here very long, but how can you have a manager and you're not going to take a gap year?
Okay, think of it as Everton. Let's say we end the season, Everton are in 13th place. Reports are Lampard is most likely going to leave after one more year. Do you give him a transfer window?
In the scenario, well, I mean...
Just take it exactly how I said it. Do you give him that summer transfer window?
Yes, you do, because...
Knowing he's not going to be there next year, so the changes he's going to make may potentially be prohibitive to the team succeeding the year after.
I mean, you will have a say in the decisions that... He doesn't have complete say in what decisions are made. You have input in that decision if you are a sporting director or whatever, but how can you maintain the confidence of your supporters by getting rid of Lampard after, in this scenario like Rooney, he's there 6 months.
Right.
And then you get rid of him. You don't think that supporters, season ticket holders are going to be like, what the fuck is going on with this team?
You don't think in a year from now they're going to be like, we wasted an entire year. Why did we even have this guy? Why did we let him bring these players in? We didn't win. We didn't succeed. And he's gone. And now the next manager is going to have to make even more changes.
It's worse to do it now than it is a year from now.
I couldn't agree more. By the way, St. Tally said Alexis looking at his phone like he just sent a you up a risky text and is waiting for a response. Justin Friedrich said, Alexis looking at his phone like he just sent a you up late night text. Nick Red said, Alexis looking at his phone like his Postmates delivery is more than 10 minutes late. All of those are correct, except I know what my wife would say if I sent a risky text. He has not looked at it yet. He must be busy. What is he doing, dude? You don't do nothing, bro.
You clickety clacking on your keyboard.
Would you find out Johan Cruyff played a game in Vancouver once?
So no, I think DC are in a bad spot because they have a lot of, they have issues from the roster to people are mad at ownership. They have to finish building the damn stadium.
Which is even funny. Remember when they were like, oh, we can't play games during the day because we didn't realize the sun hits the cameras?
Even decision day was weird. I don't know if you saw it. You were obviously in London. I don't know if you saw any matches, but the games were all, especially
Justin Friedrich said, Pablo writing an article about how Pele once played a charity match in Boise, Idaho.
all the games were like fairly early, like at 2 o'clock, 2:30, right. And some of the games, especially the game at Audi Field, was you couldn't. The sun was so bright you couldn't see. You could barely tell the players' jerseys apart on TV.
Because the sun
shadows
goes into the cameras.
That wasn't the issue with this particular game. It was just that the sun was so
Yeah, but don't they have the ISO? You ever notice when there's a shadow on the field?
Yeah.
They'll switch back and forth.
This was the problem. I don't know if they didn't adjust the ISO correctly.
Oh, they had an amateur cameraman,
bro. But it's I forgot who they were playing, but you could barely tell the two different teams apart on television. I'm sure in person, I'm sure it wasn't that big a deal, but it was odd. They got to put a damn roof. DC, Audi Field needs a roof to block the damn sun.
Can we start a GoFundMe for DC to get a roof? And FC Dallas, y'all need a roof, bro. I don't know how you're letting your fans bake for 90 minutes.
I mean, it's weather's cooling down, so it's not as bad now. But in the summer,
I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about the beginning of the season, bro.
They got it.
How many more fans do you think would show up to an FC Dallas match if they had a roof?
That's a good question. I think a fair amount. Yeah, I don't know how many. I mean, it's not like sometimes people make fun of FC Dallas and like they, no fans are there or whatever. It's not as bad as it looks on TV. I've been there. You haven't been there, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you went for the?
Yeah.
No, you went.
I haven't been during a game.
Exactly.
I've been to Dallas.
The Hall of Fame. Yeah,
I've been to Frisco.
Yes, but I stayed for the game against Sporting Kansas City.
How many more fans would show up if it was called Frisky, Texas, dude?
Wow.
I hope that was a little bit lower.
Great question.
NYCFC got a baseball diamond with people at it.
Did you see the people complain about the stadium, but especially games at Yankee Stadium, a lot of fans show up. I mean, and comparable to some of the other MLS stadiums that get a lot of fans. I mean, NYCFC is getting a couple 20 some odd thousand fans.
It's pretty good.
Again, it's pretty good. Obviously it feels
could be better, but it's pretty good.